Not.
And it's definitely on, and we've got, okay.
Cherokee Harris.
Chill, okay. Roll call attendance. Lee,
Present.
Catherine,
Present.
Igor,
Here.
Christina, absent. Scott, absent, and so Cheryl is here to represent the board. Margaret, present, and Bonnie, present.
Motion to appoint Jerry to sit in Christine's place.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay, now you
Just making sure he has exercise today.
get comfortable back there, now you can come up to the table. Now, thank you. Did we advertise the already leasing for 5:15? Or 5? Straight at 5? Yep. Okay, so we can proceed with it. Yep. All right, we're gonna see your applications on top there in the clip. That's the whole. All righty, then I would like to open the public hearing for the R&E leasing excavation application. It's for obviously an excavation project. It's a new application. We no longer have renewals. We have an owner in the audience, Bill. And would you like to say anything about your application, present anything?
Same one since 1987, ain't nothing changed.
And
I don't know which one.
okay, according to our regulations, we have to review it and approve a new permit every 5 years. So you're saying it's the same project that you submitted, no changes?
Yeah,
Plan.
if you look at that plan, you got your notebooks there,
Yeah.
back in the 80s. This is the same one you got today, and
Oh,
we ain't done anything down there as far as digging in the last 5 years.
okay, it says 19.9 acres. Area to be excavated 5.75 acres. And there is a plan. We can get out the big plan. And we should note that the fees are paid. And we could spread out the big plan so people could look at it.
Do you have the checklist of, on the application of the different things like the?
Yes, where is that?
Just so we can just go through that.
I think that's wise. Yeah. All right, where is that? It's in
I
my,
was just looking for my email isn't connecting through here.
okay. The abutters list provided. That's in the packet.
Abutters have been notified, right?
The abutters have been notified, and as far as I can see, none came back on the word protocol. Where's the whole thing up there?
And as far as I can see, no butters are present in the room.
Right, no.
Is one of these for the public?
Yes, they gave us. All right, here's the notices. Looks like they all
We got them all back.
came back. There's the whole pile of them. So the fees are paid. The notice to the abutters mailed, received back. The engineering plans provided, which is this plan here. And we've had only one.
We have these.
Bill brought in 4. Regulations do not say they have to be any size, but so short notice. He brought in 4
Yeah.
small copies, which if we find the plans acceptable, that meets that requirement. If we do, we decide that they're
Yeah, can I see the?
The other issue is course, the bond. And we have a letter from the bonding company that the new bond written will be at the higher rate per acre than was previous. And it will be timed such that the old bond expired last night at midnight. And the new bond comes in effect today. So there's no gap in having a bond, and the new bond has the name R&E Leasing on it. There was some discussion that we all had with the name Con Brothers, R&E Leasing, Lincoln Trucking, 3 different names running around. I checked with the town office, and the property is taxed by the town of Woodstock under the name R&E Leasing / Lincoln Trucking. That's what it says on the records. That's what the bill says. It goes out. That's what it says on the records. So there's been some confusion about, you know, the ownership of it, because over the years, I think probably it was you and your brothers, and then
On those construction.
Con Brothers Construction. So, probably, you know, we should have a discussion on that. Are you satisfied?
I'm okay with that.
You're okay with it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's looking at it's R&E Leasing on it, and that's who the
Right, and
bond
it
is paid out.
does.
And, yeah,
Do you have the copy from the,
Yeah, it should be in
The-
the green, we had green folder,
okay,
plus you took
Here
care
it
of
is.
the copy from the insurance company.
I got the bond right here.
In process of being issued.
do you have the bond right with you? Oh, that's even better.
You got the permit with you?
Wait,
You
that's
want this?
even better. We
Or you
do,
want that?
I'll pass it up to the chair. We do, you know, need the bond, obviously. We got a statement from your insurance company. A copy of it, so we at least have that for tonight,
Yeah.
if you hadn't received it in hand yet. And it does say R&E Leasing, and it's gonna match the term, the date of the permit application. It's gonna match.
all right.
So, you wanna look at this? There it is, signed, sealed, and delivered.
You see the
No.
stamp on it.
Dollar amount is correct.
The dollar amount is, we gave the insurance company the right amount, let's see. Where does it say? It's $200 million.
147,500.
143,750, no,
I think it was supposed to be
143,750, that's why I have a letter right here.
143,750.
Yeah.
Check it out.
That's whatever you gave them.
Yeah, no, I actually gave them the number and gave them the date. And told them that it would be very convenient if the bond is for the same exact year as the permit is. And it's an annual renewal, like, you have to, each year you have to give us another one. And make sure there's no, a gap in the coverage.
They do that automatic.
Yeah. Is that,
yeah, I'm sure it's on here, I'm just not seeing it.
I didn't either, just looking quickly, I didn't either.
It was near the top in fine print in one of the small lines. I saw it in the copy they emailed us.
Well, then I'm gonna hand this to you.
These show us what
I
it is.
can't see it. I'm looking for.
Hand it to me, I'll find it.
I think it's written
down. The amount.
Oh, here it is, $143,750.
It's gonna say it on there, right? Right.
It's like, they take a
Okay.
blanket
Gotcha.
and they just fill in smaller print, all the pertinent information, it's right there.
But in here, it doesn't exceed this amount, that's what, this shows the maximum amount,
Yeah,
200.
so are we satisfied that we have a bond in place? And are we satisfied with the plans that,
All right, so have two questions. We have pictures, right?
Yes,
All right.
years and years of it.
So, because our excavation permit, regulation, talks about us having a free visit, but, I'm thinking if we have pictures, because, we were there, I think we did a site visit a year ago,
Yep, we go every single
and I
year.
think that's probably acceptable.
I think so, cause I don't think anything's been done since then.
Right, and so I'm okay with that. The only question I have, and this is a question only, is it says here that. Hold on, I have to find it. Somewhere. That it's supposed to be presented to the Conservation Commission as well. That the applicant. Does it to the Conservation Commission, here we go. The applicant shall submit to the planning board and the Conservation Commission, the information documents specified in RSA 155E, so my question is, has this been given to the Conservation Commission?
Way back.
And I sent them a notice.
Whoops.
Okay, so if you,
Email.
okay, good. Then that's what I needed to know. I just want to make sure that we're thorough and,
Yeah,
because we get questioned on everything.
we do.
What trouble you causing?
It's the world,
That's
it's the world,
what I do, man.
It ain't nothing.
it's the world we live in and
Yes,
we have to,
and so everybody is
Do it
treated 100%
correctly.
the same.
and failing and everybody, yeah. Anybody in the audience have anything else they want to say on this application? We can look to the folks on the, Zoom, anybody?
I'm good. This is Kath.
Okay,
To approve the application and present it to us.
I'll second it.
okay. Want to go down through the roll call, anybody have any other comments to make? Okay, want to go down through the roll call?
Lee,
Yes.
Catherine,
Yes.
Igor,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Cheryl. Margaret
Yes.
and Bonnie.
Yes.
Cheryl had lots of nodding.
Cheryl nodded.
Sure.
Okay, she said yes too. All right, well, congratulations.
We're done.
We are, and
I
you
hate
get
to
a
keep-
permit.
but See ya.
Don't do
You can hang around.
don't do any digging until you get that thing to.
Then we ain't digging, I'll see you in 5 years, Mark.
I'm still alive.
See you, 5 years.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, thank you.
Put these,
Let's put these 4 extras in the file. All right. And you can put the file back together. You can put it all back in. Oh. Here's,
Perfect, we saw, I thought.
yeah, I mean, I was there, but I was,
yeah. And so there's no question, we got our pictures. All right, you can put that back together. All right, the next, a public hearing, did we set a time for that? I think we said 5:15, what time is it?
14.
So we'll wait.
Well, good, that gives us a minute to chat.
Okay,
You didn't tell me you didn't have an application, Bonnie.
we don't have an application.
Then you can't have a public hearing.
The town of Thornton
The town of
actually sent
Thornton.
us they asked us to answer questions
Yeah,
on this.
and we were told we had
On
to.
June
Okay,
15th or June 17th.
We have standing,
No,
we have legal
okay.
standing.
so I'm Laura, I'm your lawyer.
Yes.
I know, you have standing. But you can't have a public hearing on an application if you don't have an application. And you certainly can't have a public hearing if you don't give notice to the applicant that you're having a public
Yeah,
Well-
hearing.
yeah, Lee, you wanna?
The issue that I have is that the applicant here would be the town of Thornton, not
No.
John Kubik.
No, the applicant is John Kubik. Now Thornton may have sent you questions to answer, in which case we can review the questions.
And that's
answer
and that's
them.
what I think, yeah,
Okay.
and maybe that's not a
Do you
public
have
hearing.
correspondence from the town of Thornton that I could see?
Yes. We do. And this
Yeah,
one,
and there's the most recent one is right there.
We were told down there at Thornton, I went down there and we were told we have to have a public hearing. We have standing, we have
You do.
standing in this issue.
So
And so we had to have a public hearing.
here's the thing, their application cannot be approved
Right,
until you guys approve it.
right.
But you can't have a public hearing on it until they apply to you for approval.
So I think on June 17th or June
Yes.
15th, whatever the correspondence, that it's that one of those two dates, and I'm missing it right now. They may ask us that, but I don't know how
There's a
specific.
date, I've got a letter dated the 17th
That's the one I'm talking about.
that
I just want to make it known that I'm recusing myself from the board for this topic for OCI
Okay,
issues.
good.
Thank you.
We haven't put the hearing, yeah, but thank you for saying that, thank you.
Laura, I'm Lee Freeman, we've met before.
How are you? Nice to see everyone.
Well, it was. Where is that? I know
Well, I stole your file, so maybe it's in here.
Let's see.
let's find that specific request.
I see a letter from the Thornton Planning Board
Yeah,
asking the Woodstock Planning Board to make a decision regarding
Right.
the adequacy of the street access.
right.
That's not good enough.
That's not the one, is that, what's the date on that?
July 22nd.
That's not the one.
No, there's another one.
Oh, what are we got today?
It's finally.
June 17th.
That's the one, that's the letter to which I'm referring.
Thornton Planning Board has received an application for minor site plan review, notice for a public hearing. Has attached the site plan and application and request responses to the following. Are there existing facts or regulations of the town that would preclude or affect? So this is what you're discussing tonight with the answer to these questions?
We've
No,
actually,
we've already done that.
Okay,
We did.
but that's, so they responded. So we sent them a response, correct?
Yes, there it is, right here.
Okay,
This is what we said were our
so
answers to their questions.
they asked if it was complete, we said no.
okay,
We said no.
okay. You didn't tell them why. Why don't you think it's complete?
Um, Because we didn't have the information that we needed
About the road.
about the road.
Okay.
And so, anyway,
Okay.
we'll stop there.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
Are there any existing facts or regulations of the town of Woodstock that would preclude or affect the proposed site plan? And you referenced the statute. And so the town took no position.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
And we also mentioned, the driveway permit, which was later found, we stated that there was no driveway permit, but it was later discovered that we had issued, that the town of Woodstock had issued a driveway permit.
Okay.
However, after that, we discovered that it was before it was a change of use to the proposed current use.
Yeah.
I'm searching here, I'm searching.
Driveway permit was requested and received prior to
Correct.
But the use,
prior to the change of use.
I mean, from my perspective, the biggest issue for the town of Woodstock is the road.
Right.
And, I mean, I
Right.
know, I was reading through trying to figure out how you address that, and it looks like the state Department of Transportation, actually, there's an RSA that they will provide an engineer to look at the to help evaluate situations like this. It's like 128 something.
Okay. I'm not familiar with that RSA. Let's come back to that.
All right,
Why didn't we notify the applicant we were having the public hearing?
We just didn't.
it was
think of
bad
it.
choosing.
We
Okay.
just didn't think about it.
Okay.
We just didn't
Okay.
think about it.
All right. So here's what I'm going to suggest you do. Don't have a public hearing tonight because you
Yeah.
don't have an applicant here to talk about the road.
Right,
So let's start over. We'll renotice the public hearing for another night. What I'd like to do is reach out to Phil Hastings, who is the lawyer, who I did call today, and I said, I represent the town of Woodstock Planning Board. I'm going out there tonight. I will speak with them about this. So please don't panic. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to speak to him about the fact that we do believe it needs Woodstock Planning Board approval. The only access is through the town of Woodstock. The statute clearly requires the approval. And what we would like is for his client to come in with an application and tell us, what is the status of the road? What is the construction of the road? What do you know about the road? So that we can evaluate whether or not the road is in fact sufficient to handle the proposed traffic.
But for
Because
an application for what?
an application for approval of the road.
Okay,
Approval for them to.
We
use
don't
it.
have hearings. We don't have a subdivision or anything before us to,
But on the-
I don't.
I
we
think
don't-
on that RSA, that's where the authority comes from, right?
Yeah.
The authority comes from 674
Yeah.
53,
53.
and
Yeah,
what it
53.
says
Yeah.
is, no plan or plat showing land or streets in more than one municipality shall be deemed approved, yada, yada, yada. In addition, no plan or plat showing land whose sole access or sole maintained street access is via a highway in an adjoining municipality unless it has been approved by the planning board, if any, in that adjoining municipality. Provided, however, that the sole issue which may be addressed or regulated by Woodstock shall be the adequacy of the street access and the impact of the proposal upon it. So what they're gonna need to do is come in and they're going to say, this road is adequate for our accessing our property, and here's why. And you will get to review that.
okay, and so, what are the,
Standards?
what are the standards of require, I guess, how do we determine if what they're telling us about the adequacy is
Yeah.
adequate?
You get to retain an expert to review whatever information they're giving you and to do any sort of independent study you believe is necessary, and you get to make them pay for that.
Okay, so, the RSA that I was referring to earlier is 22845.
Okay.
And you don't have to look up now, but it sounds to me like the Department of Transportation, the Secretary of the Department of Transportation can have an engineer do this at no charge to the towns. And I'm thinking it would be great if the
Yeah,
town
that's
of
what
Woodstock
we
and the
should
town
do.
of Thornton cumulatively put together, looked at this, because this isn't just a Woodstock problem.
Right.
This is you've been out on the road.
I
know you-
have.
I have. And so you know that they're
Yeah.
all part of the road, and that's actually right where the town line is.
Well, what did Thornton do with it? Did Thornton already approve it, subject
Yes.
to you guys
Yes.
approving it?
Yes.
No, they just approved it.
They just approved it. Okay, then they're not gonna get in on it because they've already approved it. They clearly don't care.
Okay,
Okay.
so then, should we go to the Department of Transportation under this RSA, or should we hire somebody?
Let me look at that statute
Perfect.
and see exactly what it says and what it
Perfect.
authorizes the state to do.
Yep.
Let me coordinate with Phil Hastings.
Yep.
Because if they're not going to come in, then we're going to have to file an action to require them to come in.
Okay.
He told me he was just retained like yesterday.
Yep.
So he hasn't had time to go through anything.
Right.
So he hadn't had time to do any sort of analysis. So, is this why you were here? It is.
I have pictures of the road.
So that would be my suggestion as to how you handle this, is just don't go forth tonight. We'll renotice. We will do this properly, but let's get the applicant here so they can talk to you
Yeah,
about
that
the
was
road.
just, I think that was just a mistake on our part.
Yeah, no, it just was an oversight.
Okay.
It just, it's very unusual.
It's a weird application. It's a
weird-
really weird
we don't-
application.
It's not our usual process, and usually it would be the owner of the land that is putting in an application.
Right.
Well, the owner of the land didn't, it was the town of Thornton.
That brought it to
telling
your
us, and
attention.
so we kind of looked at the town of Thornton being the applicant. We didn't even, it was an oversight. We didn't even
Yep.
think of
I
it.
completely understand. Yeah. And
So-
I'd never assumed there was any sort of malice involved.
No.
Because I know
it
you and I
just-
have had conversations all along saying we want to do this right.
We wanna do it right.
Yeah.
And so we will, continue. the
Don't
public-
even open it. Don't
Don't
continue it
open
because
it.
we're just gonna
we
renotice
will
it anyway.
Continue it until our next meeting, which is.
We don't even know if it will be the next meeting. We're gonna have to
Right.
wait and see
Right.
when they apply. and
Perfect, that's
When we
right.
can get
That's
notices
right.
out.
Okay,
So
we'll just
can I ask a
continue it.
question? So we'll just, end this one and notice it again when I have the information.
Yes.
Yeah,
Hey,
we don't
has a
have
question.
to notice over again, do we?
We're gonna have to notice it all over
Because we
again.
don't have a date certain. I was trying to give us a
I
date
know,
certain
I
to
know.
save money and.
Will the applicant have to notice
The
all the
applicant-
butters it,
yes.
and do all that stuff as
Yes,
well?
the
Okay.
applicant's gonna have to pay to notice the abutters. The applicant will have to pay some sort of application fee. What is your regular subdivision application fee?
We don't have a driveway permit application.
We have
fee, so it's
Subdivision.
sort-
Subdivision.
And it's a minor, it's being considered a minor down there, right?
I would say that it's well, they're saying it's a minor site plan.
It's minor.
I don't know how they determine
I
that
don't
though.
know what it is.
And you don't have a site plan review at all,
We don't.
so
Right, no zoning.
probably just go with this minor subdivision application fee.
Right.
I know Cheryl has a question and this lovely lady has a question as well.
Is there any specific application form that he needs to submit?
We don't have one in
Yeah.
Woodstock. Do you guys have like road standards for your
Yes.
subdivisions?
Absolutely do.
Okay.
Definitely.
All right, so that's where we'll start. We'll start with your classified
And we
road
have, of
standards.
course, the driveway permit process,
Yes.
which is a
Yeah.
selectman process,
Yeah.
not us.
Yeah.
But.
Cheryl?
okay. Cheryl?
I was just gonna add, Bonnie, that it may be beneficial when we do, or when it comes about to redo the public hearing, is that we invite the town's engineer to join us for that meeting. So when there is conversation about the quality of the road or why this gentleman feels it's up to par for what he's looking for, we actually have somebody in the room qualified to hear that and maybe help us determine in that moment, or if we need to proceed to get an engineer actually down there through DOT or however we do it.
So
Okay,
it's really good to know you have a town engineer.
Do we have a town
We
engineer?
don't have one, do we?
we have Horizons engineer.
Oh, perfect.
Okay.
So knowing that the sole issue you're going to look at is Stone Dam Road, in conjunction with the selectmen, it might be worth sending the engineer out there ahead of time, take a look at the road,
Yeah.
see where this property is, and have some information coming into that public hearing. So you might be in a position to make a decision that night. Is that something the selectmen can talk about? Cheryl?
Yeah, we could talk about it. Yeah, it just happens about a week and a half ago or so. We did take a ride out there with the town's engineer when we had noticed, and so he has been out there with us. I mean, he didn't get out of the vehicle and inspect it to every detail, but he's been out there with us
Wonderful.
and knows. So
Okay, good. That's great information to have. So good, next time we will be able to notice, we'll have that person here, you'll get notice again, so you'll know when to show up. And we'll have some more information about the operation in terms of how many trucks a day they're contemplating, what size these trucks are gonna be, how heavy they're gonna be when fully loaded, that sort of
Do
information.
we have the right to gather, well, we don't have any site plan review or any change of use process or whatever, but we do have the right to question him about the impact
To the road,
to the road.
that's it.
We have the ability, if we wanted to assess an impact fee,
Absolutely not.
not,
Do you have a road impact fee in town?
um,
If there is a determination that the road is not capable of handling the traffic, then we can talk about either a bond to ensure that the road gets restored or an assessment to bring the road up to standards. But let's cross that bridge when we get to
yeah,
it.
because the agreement we have with Thornton is,
It's only a winter maintenance agreement. It's just
that's
plowing.
only winter. Any construction or reconstruction of the road in Woodstock is Woodstock's financial responsibility.
Correct.
Any maintenance work on the road in Thornton is Thornton's responsibility. That was a trade-off that we did with Middle Lake. You know, it was just an arrangement. The two towns have an agreement how those things are handled.
And it's a class 5 road, yes?
You say so.
Okay.
When I bought my property, it was a class 6 road. I had to sign all the documentation.
I would say it's 6.
It was a 6,
Did I
now it's
say-
a 5.
It's a 5. It's listed as a 5.
I bought it, it was, my property was a 6.
I think it's a 6, because I don't think we've spent a ton of money on it. Have we
No,
gone
it's
on-
not-
Have you spent
it's-
any money on it? That's class
Yes.
five.
Yeah, we have spent money on it now.
And it's
so
plowed. It's plowed by a public works department, so.
That's correct.
Okay, so it probably became a 5.
Yeah, we have a buying agreement on this.
Yes, it's a 5.
Okay, it's a 5. All right, well, that's all.
Okay.
For the future to.
Yeah,
figure
so
out.
I'll work with
Okay.
Phil and we'll arrange it and we'll get it in here.
All
And
right.
in the meantime, as far as I'm concerned, they don't have a final approval.
Okay.
And if they start operating, you let me know, we'll take care of it.
Start operating the business.
Yes,
They've been operating for 2 years.
are they currently operating?
They haven't
Yes.
had any training in the last couple of days, but they do bring
Yeah,
trucks
they've
and
been-
uses heavy equipment on a regular basis.
Okay. I'll talk to Phil.
It's been, if I may,
Yes, please.
I'm Candy, by the way.
Candy
Candy.
Andrew, Laura Spector Morgan, Candy's the butter.
Yes, yes, I am.
Last year they started, right, Candy, in full? It was like maybe 12 months ago or 16 months ago that it really
Yes,
started
right after he
going.
died. Yes, it was. Yep. They brought in a lot of road debris from Waterville Valley.
Hundreds of truckloads.
Hundreds of truckloads of road debris. And, Catherine can't ride her horses because of the noise, because you can't tell when the tailgates are gonna slap, all that kind of stuff. And I look out, instead of the pine trees now, I have, a mountain, and I will just say a mountain of debris. I have another name for it, but we won't come in. So, but I know these fine folks are primarily interested in the road, and the road, in my mind, is not sufficient for 2 dump trucks to pass.
Side by side.
Yeah.
So what was the change that came about that caused them to have to go to the Thornton plan? I know what I heard at the Thornton meeting. That's why I'm asking.
Right, what was there
happened?
before?
What was the
this?
change that caused them to
Okay,
think
so
they
this is a
had
brand
to
new
come for
business.
change of use?
I see, all right, so.
At the meeting, he said it was out of the goodness of his heart, or he
Yeah.
was just trying to do the right thing. But in our original complaint to the town of Thornton, we had noted that any change of use within their zoning ordinance required a site plan. That is in their zoning ordinance, and that was never done. And this was last
Candy is saying
year.
this is a brand new business.
It is new as of that time.
Okay.
That
It was
particular
originally
parcel-
when the property oh, sorry, Candy, I'm a little bit delayed. I apologize.
That's all right.
When
ahead.
the property was transferred over in the sale, it was listed as being in a commercial zone, but it was currently used as residential. So when it was getting changed to a commercial property, their zoning ordinance requires a site plan for that. In addition,
Okay.
it's actually what they're using it for is not even acceptable under commercial policies. It would be industrial.
So it's
But it was
commer-
approved anyway through the Thornton Planning Board. Over.
And Thornton has a permissive zoning.
Yeah, did they get a variance?
No, that's the thing, they Norris took special exception. And the issue that me speaking for, on the planning board is that if this, is indeed permitted, it is beyond the scope of what their zoning ordinance says.
When did the Thornton Planning Board approve this?
2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
We need to talk about appealing that.
Yeah, I mean, to me, reading Thornton stuff and having been a resident of Thornton and all that stuff, it should have gone to ZBA. But that's to me, because it is beyond what I saw as the scope of what is allowed in the commercial.
it was like about 3 weeks ago, because it was after our meeting, and I went down there. in July.
I was very surprised it didn't kick out to ZBA.
Cheryl, when did the selectmen meet again?
When did we meet?
When do you meet again?
When do we meet again? We meet again on the 20th of
And when was it
August.
18th,
I might need you to meet earlier.
Okay,
July,
Okay,
July 18th, they approved it. And there was discussion there about it, you know, why is this before us? You know, a couple of people are wondering us, why in the world is this application even here?
Excuse me, can I interject something, please? I'm just a bystander, but if you close this public hearing, you should not be talking about the application
we never
or
opened,
any
no.
actions that were taken at a previous meeting.
we never opened the public hearing.
Correct,
We're
but you're
having-
not granting the applicant or anybody involved in the case to speak to this besides the abutters.
We're having consultation with counsel.
Then you should be in a non-public session.
I don't have to be in a non-public session to do that.
I'm
I
just
can be-
saying, I am just saying for the betterment of the applicant who is not there to defend themselves or anybody else who's been involved with this process, you should not be continuing this discussion. You move to continue it to the next meeting and it should be at that, and the only discussion should be on the road.
Okay, thank you. So I will have a conversation with the selectmen about that.
Can I ask who was speaking there? Because it just says iPhone 2.
We need to know who is speaking for the minutes, please.
Who was just speaking, please?
I'm a member of the public who's been observing this from both towns for the last few months, and I'd like to keep it at that.
We need to identify you for the minutes, please.
You can identify me as iPhone 1 as a concerned resident.
Okay,
If I may, if, I believe to appeal the planning board action, it has to be by the 16th, so that's like this.
It has to be 30 days.
okay, let's not, continue any discussions. We're gonna continue. I was hoping we were continuing to avoid all the notice fees and everything.
No, we'll
It's
do that.
just
Yep.
the way I'm thinking, but, we probably don't know a date certain whether we need 1 month, 2 months, 3 months.
Right.
So.
Yep.
All right. Anything else we could say on that? All right, we now have, the regular, we'll call the regular, board meeting, to order, and we will have a discussion with our legal counsel, concerning, future land use regulations. Any interest in the same, any suggestions? Or things that we might want to consider? So Laura,
Hi.
you know everybody, maybe we can all introduce ourselves. I'm Bonnie, of course, and
Margaret. Kathy.
Candy.
Candy.
Igor, Billy.
Lee Freeman.
Jerry.
Hi. So you've had a lot of conversations over the years at your town meeting. I've
Excuse
heard.
me.
Oh, what
We
happened?
lost the Zoom.
uh-oh,
We have not lost the Zoom, we've just lost the connection to the television.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, I can still see you.
all right,
okay, good.
that's fine.
Good, because we decided to have this, discussion in public.
Right.
We made
Yeah.
that choice.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've heard lots of conversations at town meetings where people stand up and complain about something that's going on in town, and then someone else stands up and says, well, you keep voting down zoning, and that's why this gets to go on in town. So what we wanted to talk about a little bit was whether the town might be interested in adopting a very simple zoning ordinance, and what other opportunities that might provide you. So on some level, you already have zoning ordinances, right? You have a height regulation, you
Mhm.
have a setback regulation,
And
you have a floodplain regulation, and you have telecommunications ordinances. Those are all zoning regulations, and the world has not come to an end in Woodstock. I think what would help you tremendously would be to have a basic zoning ordinance that also regulated uses in certain districts. So that you had your downtown district, which allowed your basic commercial uses as of right. And then the rest of the town was essentially a residential district that allowed other uses by special exception. A special exception is a use that is allowed as long as certain conditions are met. And those conditions usually relate to traffic, noise, lighting. You want to make sure that whatever commercial use you're going to plop in the middle of a residential neighborhood will be compatible with that residential neighborhood. This came up, the first time I ever had to deal with this was in the town of Groton. I don't know if you remember, about 20 years ago, there was a sort of a paramilitary training camp that wanted to go into the middle of Groton. And Groton said, hell no, and they adopted zoning when they had never had any zoning, and it was about 2 pages long. And that's what it was. Residential uses, awesome. Commercial uses, great, but special exception. And Groton, it now has like 119-page zoning ordinance. So I'm not gonna say that if you do this, you're gonna stay there. But you could. Jefferson still has a very simple zoning ordinance that essentially is residential uses are permitted, everything else is allowed by special exception. But that is sort of the most basic level of zoning you can have. If you do that, that would allow you to review things like ice castles when it wants to go in, if it's outside your zoning district, or the home business that wants to go in someone's house and they want to sell, I don't know, Beanie Babies, but they want to have people come to their house to buy the Beanie Babies. Things like that.
Or use tires recycling plant or.
Yes, yes, exactly. Excavations. All of this.
So in my short tenure on this board, it seems to me that we are reluctant to hold applicants' feet to the fire.
Mhm.
And so with that, that's one of the many reasons I have issues with zoning.
Sure.
And I'll use an example. We have a telecommunications ordinance, and we have a tower that's gonna be going in, and the applicant wanted to go to a certain height. Our specifications stop at a certain height. We issued a waiver.
Okay.
And great, I voted no.
Yeah.
Because I believe if you have an ordinance, and just like you saw with the gentlemen that were here for that, I'm gonna read it and I'm gonna say, did we do this?
Right.
And because if you have it, you have to be willing to enforce it, and as this board, and I can't speak for the select board, I don't see a willingness to do that. Now, if there's specific things that the village wants, I don't live in the village, first off, I live on Stonedale Road, out in the middle of nowhere. And if there's something that the village wants, maybe they need to set up a village precinct, you know, that, and I'm just thinking a way to avoid zoning for those of us who live differently than those people who are in the village. And that's all.
Or you could have zoning just for that section of town.
I'm thinking, you know,
We had the gun range that wanted to come to town. It was a big deal. That was not in the village. There was no zoning. There was nothing you could do about it. So it's those one-off things that you don't really think
and
about.
I also have a problem, once somebody has made an investment in property, taking away some of their property rights.
Well, if you had a zoning ordinance, they would know that before they bought it, right?
But it's too late for everybody that owns now.
It is.
You know, and so that, working backwards, those are some of the issues. And I think that there's a lot of people that have strong
I
feelings like
understand.
that.
Believe me, I get it.
Okay.
Yeah, my only thought, my only wish list would be that we had a way to gain more information. I mean, we need site plan review to know what's going on.
You
So
can't
many
have
things
site plan
can't
without
have
zoning.
Site plan review without zoning.
Yeah.
I would be willing to accept that Z word to get site plan review, to get information, to know what's going on, and maybe head off, or maybe have some place where they have to come and get information about the height and the driveway, and hear about it's in the floodplain or in shoreline protection, or, you know, did you know this, that, or the other, or wetlands, did you think about these things? I wish we could be a source of information or a place where people could go to help them plan their idea, their vision, not ruin their vision or not make it possible, but help them put it together in a better fashion that is more compatible with everybody else's rights.
How much land is available in the town of Woodstock that hasn't yet been
A
developed?
lot, tons, and, used to a greater extent, go up, everything on the main street could go up. We could cause parking, all of the buildings could be, we do, but all the buildings downtown could be double decked and bigger impact. It'd be nice to be involved in it and at least hear about it and maybe say something. We've got the Hintland land, we've got, that it'll ever be for sale, but, the Faddens own a lot of land and Rogers at exit 30, Bruce Rogers land down there, and I could go on and on and on finding, and people are building on steeper slopes, all the way from here to my house, all the way down there. They are buying the cliffs and hanging their houses off of it and building roads up in there, and we want to be able to, they want to build one house. We want to be able to have a chance to say to them, well, no, we only want 9% grade, we don't want that.
Okay, I will say if someone wants to build one house, they're not coming to see you under site plan review.
Anyway, but they
would be responsible for complying with the zoning ordinance, and
Right.
the selectmen in issuing the building permit would be responsible for enforcing that. And if they didn't comply, they'd have to go to the zoning board and get a variance.
I mean, to me, it just seems like we're growing awfully fast, and we're right beside a town that is having quite an impact on us. All the different issues, housing and education, and impact on so the only value I see personally in the Z word is the ability to look at some of these plans and maybe offer some suggestions as to how it can be a more positive thing for the town. That's all value I see.
It's a hard sell for me.
But, that's my perspective. Right now, we don't have that ability, and we look out our window and say, holy smoly.
I mean, we're addressing an issue right now with an abutting town because of zoning.
And there's selectmen don't enforce.
No, but it's
Yeah.
just, I mean, it's just
Oh,
an
I
example
know.
of, and so, for me, it's a hard sell.
I hear you, and
And it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to draft, to adopt, to enforce. I mean, it's a whole nother level of bureaucracy.
Yeah, and then a whole other board of volunteers, and we can't even get people to show up for this when they get elected, I mean, it's true, I mean,
I'm on my zoning board, trust me, I know.
I get it. I mean, I'm not leading the charge, for us to rush around and try to get something ready for town meeting. I'm not.
Might it be
ringleader of it.
Having
That's
sort of, as a final article on your town meeting warrant, a conversation about this at town meeting to see what the temperature of the town is?
I think that would be great.
Are we ready to start going down this path, or are we not? Because if 90% of the people are gonna say no, why waste your time doing it?
I think it might make sense to have it at a time other than
Yeah.
town meeting.
I
Okay,
think so.
that would be, have a workshop.
Would you get people there?
So
You could Zoom it
the reason
and
I
allow
wanted to-
public participation via Zoom.
Yeah, Cheryl, let's face it, at town meeting, you've got.
Captive audience.
They're right there, you're gonna feel what everybody's saying. We're all gonna feel the pain, right?
But there's almost
True.
always at least the conversation at town meeting that's fraught, and we end up going until 9:00, 9:30, or even later. And if we have a zoning conversation that late at night, are we gonna have a captive audience that's actually willing to participate?
Yeah.
Or are we gonna have people that just want it over with?
We will have a well-attended town meeting if that topic's on the agenda. Everybody in town will be there. We'll have to.
You
always
have
have
a
to
attended
hire-
town meeting.
We'll have to hire the hall.
Digest and reflect on that a little bit.
Yeah.
But because if conversation's gonna be there, I want the people who are active participants in the town speaking, and that's what you get at town meeting. You know, I mean, it's not just the curmudgeons, it's.
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
Well, I think we are the planners, but for the town, we are, this is it.
Yeah.
It behooves us, it's our responsibility to bring the word up once in a while. Not, we need to talk out loud about it and have them say, no way, or, yeah, we might be interested, or we might be interested in this kind or that kind. We would be remiss if we let 10 years go by and didn't bring the topic up.
I just think people
And-
think of zoning and they think you're gonna tell me what color I have to paint my house, and you're gonna tell me how many steps I have to have. It doesn't have to, you don't have to have 20 zoning districts, it doesn't have to be that detailed, it can be really basic. And I just think it doesn't have to be as scary as people think it is.
As Justice Gorsuch just recently said, we have too many laws, and, you know, and.
And I
we're not
appreciate that a lot of
we're
people
not
feel that way.
enforcing
Yeah.
them, you know, I mean, and that's my problem.
Yeah, and to your point about us being involved in an issue with another town because of zoning.
No, I'm
If there
saying that,
wasn't zoning, we would have no say and it would just go ahead.
we
would
actually,
be
that's,
Dealing with the impact of it.
that's not true because of the, 674-53, we'd still have, a voice in that.
But I
Yeah,
don't know that you would,
right.
because if they didn't have site plan review and there was no plat being approved in Thornton, there'd be nothing for you to review.
Or, we would still have the authority to regulate the road, and if we had to, we could put a weight ban on it. I mean, that's,
You don't wanna go there.
I know, but it's an available, remedy, you know.
Sort of. Yes, but you have to grant a waiver and get a bond. Yeah, because 674-53 only talks about plats or plans showing land. So yeah, if Thornton didn't have site plan review, you wouldn't have any authority under 674-43. You'd be solely under 231. And believe me, I had that case in Belmont. It was a disaster.
So what do we do? I mean, how do we take the temperature of the town?
You can do surveys, you can have workshops, you can talk about it at town meeting, you can talk about it. The selectmen can hold workshops, I mean, there's lots of ways to do it. It's just what works best for your town, and really no one knows that other than you. When we talked about the climbing wall, the room was packed. You just gotta find something that excites people, and zoning will do it in Woodstock.
Well, when we talked about it before, that was 4, 5, 6 years ago, it filled the town hall down there.
Yeah.
I think, just inviting the public in,
And I would do it on a weekend, you know, or, you know, at a 6 or 7 o'clock
I
at
think-
night when people are home, and
I think we have to do it on a regular meeting night, period. People are used to the planning board being available on the second Monday, and that's that. You know what I mean?
whatever works for you.
I don't think we wanna move our format one iota, because it might give indication, you know, we're trying to look for a certain population, make it convenient for them to show up, and they're used to us second Monday, so I think we'd have to dedicate a second Monday for, you know, an hour.
Cheryl has a thought.
Why don't you consider possibly a couple of open discussions on it, so that you do it on your normal planning day, like you're thinking folks will come, but then I like the idea of Laura, where you maybe do it on a Saturday morning or mid-morning, where you can get other individuals who may not have the freedom during the week to attend a Monday night evening because they have kids in school or whatever.
And I only say that because that's what we did with the climbing wall, and seriously packed to the gills.
Yeah.
And what time of year would we, let's just say we wanna find out what people are thinking. When? This
I would not do it in the
You-
summer. I would do it.
Oh, what you could do is you could actually bring it up at town meeting and say, we're gonna begin discussions about this, and we need your input. Now is not the time, but this is what we're gonna do.
But look forward.
and
we're
that-
gonna
that
start
way you
holding
have
these
that
sessions.
population.
That's a great
Yeah.
idea.
That's
Because that way
that's
we've
the
got
best.
your captive audience.
Yeah.
But we're not making people talk about something when they're already tired.
Correct.
Well, that's a.
And people will be going, oh, my, their heads are gonna pop on the way out,
And
but
what I would say is, even if you have them scheduled by then, you can hand out, here are the workshops we're gonna have, here are the dates. They'll know when they are, they'll be able to
Yeah.
pick 1 or 2 to come.
let's do it that way,
Yeah.
that's the best way of all.
That's a good idea.
And then we've got the full year
Correct.
to get the input and to get something developed and have it ready.
Because
for the
let's face
vote
it,
the
you know, the
following
year
year.
goes by like that.
Yeah,
you
'cause
know.
there's nothing we're gonna be able to develop with meetings that we start in September,
Correct.
be ready for town meeting this year anyway.
Not this year, yeah.
And your regional planning commission is an invaluable source of assistance and help. North Country Council will be there to help guide you if you want. Are you not a member? I'm seeing looks.
No,
Yeah, we are.
keep my mouth.
We are members.
Yeah.
Yeah, members, but it would cost a good deal of money.
Yeah.
To look at something that would may not even be all that much interest.
Well,
in it,
yeah.
And
Let's put it out there and we'll stop
It
there.
would be a $20,000-$30,000 expense if we go that
Oh, to
way.
use them? I'll do that then.
Maybe not that much.
We'll
but
get
I
you some
mean,
examples. We'll work.
You know what I'm saying? It would be
Yeah.
an expense. It would be a line item. And it would give the impression that we're wickedly interested in it if we go that route.
Yeah.
And it would be somebody else's
Right.
product. It needs to be.
It needs to be Woodstock's
a
product.
Woodstock product.
Absolutely,
Needs to be us hearing the Woodstockites and
absolutely.
the Woodstockites telling us
Right.
what they want us to write up. Not
There's-
some
yes.
outside entity coming in.
Yes, but I am gonna say this. If you do this, there are certain things that have to be in your zoning.
Yes,
For example, workforce housing has to be in your zoning. ADUs have
What's
to
ADU?
be accessory dwelling units.
Okay.
There are certain things that have to be in there that sound big and scary that really don't have to be big and scary. But the state mandates, if you're going to have zoning, it has to be in there.
right.
So there are certain things that will have to be in there.
Yeah, I think we start with one step. And that's,
I think does
Yeah,
everybody
that's a really
agree
good
that's
idea.
where we begin?
Looking at that, Jackson one that you said was really.
Jefferson, yep.
Jefferson one that's really simple and
Yep.
straightforward.
Yep.
Might be good for us to take
Yeah.
a look at that,
Yeah.
too, just to have an idea of what basic looks like.
And again, it's long, but it's long because it has the floodplain in there. It has the telecommunications in there. And those are just long. You already
Yeah.
have those.
Right,
So yeah, I'll shoot that over to you tomorrow.
that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course.
All right, do we agree? I mean, is it a consensus of us that we wanna,
Oh, yeah.
I'm
Go
not
this
afraid to
route.
talk about it.
was that?
I'm not afraid to talk about it.
Neither am I. I am afraid to bite the
Talking-
bullet on it and actually
talk-
do it
talking with
until we
her.
know we have what we want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, very good,
Thank
very,
you.
very good.
Stone Dam Road, do you live after
Yes,
or yeah, after?
yeah.
Okay.
I'm the sugar house on the left-hand side.
Okay, I'm just making sure you don't have to repeat yourself.
Nope, I'm not in a butter.
Okay.
No.
Well,
Or, no, and I'm not, no, I'm,
way down. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, no,
Kath is in a butter.
Kath is.
Candy's in a butter.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else I can do for you while I'm here?
No, but thank you.
Good to see you
Yeah,
all.
thank you.
That's been very good,
Yep, thank you.
thank you.
Of course. Anytime. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye, thank you.
I,
All right, we'll go on to approve the July 8th minutes.
Motion to approve is written.
Oh, that's second.
Any corrections, errors, or omissions?
move it.
All in favor?
I,
Aye, all
Aye.
opposed? Aye.
That's in a
okay.
favor, right?
All
Yes.
right, All right, we've got, adoption of the excavation checklist, discussion on it, and then decide whether we're getting ready to adopt it, or we're ready to adopt it, or
I'm ready to adopt it.
I am.
I thought it looked good.
I'll second it,
Okay, any discussions, any,
move it.
all right, you wanna take, let's take, go down to the.
Okay.
list.
Lee,
Yes.
Catherine,
Yes,
Igor,
Yes,
Jerry,
Yes,
Cheryl.
I'm gonna abstain from voting on that because I'm not 100% up to stuff on it.
Margaret
Yes.
and Bonnie.
Yes. Good, we have our checklist.
Nice.
It'll be easier from now on. All right, we need to schedule the next excavation site visits in September. We always do September, and we usually do it before our regular meeting, which will be September, what is it, like? The 8th, whatever it is.
September
Nine.
12th.
9th,
Right.
September 9th, and that,
Can we do it the same day but earlier?
yes, that's what we
Oh,
usually do.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's what we usually do. So we can,
The following day is primary day, isn't it? Is it?
I think primary day is.
Yes, the following day is primary day.
yes, it
Yeah,
is.
so for some of us, it's a long day.
Let's forget the hazard
For some of
mitigation
us, it's a
matrix.
long day.
Yeah. I'm talking about the supervisor going like
It's a
this.
long day.
Yeah.
So we usually start, 4,
So
3:30.
would give us
4,
An hour.
3:30.
3:30 probably is.
3:30, and we can either, my suggestion is that we start at the southernmost and work our way north to here. That's just it,
That's the reverse order, but that's better.
because otherwise you're going down and coming back,
You
and it's gonna keep getting
realize,
dark at that, you know.
you realize we have a new excavation checklist, and you realize we're trying to be more, formal and more, cross all the i's and dot all the t's. Do we want, and we can, hire somebody or get somebody that really knows what they're looking at, and really do a more thorough job?
No.
Are we thinking that? I mean, it would be the time as part of the process to implement a more thorough,
I think let's
Visit.
see how this goes with the checklist,
okay.
and if there's, and if there's any questions, then we can cross that bridge.
So let's go down there with the checklist in hand and see how well we do.
Yeah, if there's anything that we can't definitively mark yes or no, then that's the point where we would say we need to come back to the next.
Correct, yes,
No.
yes,
Okay,
agreed.
that's a good plan.
Yeah.
All right, I
What
just wanted to
time?
bring it up because, we are making
So
an all-out effort to
starting at 3:30 at con,
Yep,
3:30.
RNE,
Arnie,
Oh,
whatever,
yeah.
the one down there.
yeah.
And then working our way, we can go, whatever.
We usually
You
take
know,
them in the
west,
order
east, it doesn't
as
matter.
we see them. Okay,
So what's the address there? Do we not have it?
it's right across from the motorcycle place,
Okay,
Down the steep hill.
okay.
way down the steep hill. All right. Selectmen's representative, Cheryl, do you have anything to say?
I am just sitting in tonight in Scott's absence, primarily for the public hearings and the zoning discussions. But I will add, like I said earlier, that about a week and a half ago, we did take a ride. We had a workshop where we visited all of the roads in Woodstock, class 6 and class 5, to kind of identify if there's issues, what type of issues, and kind of start to plot out a investment or improvement plan for the upcoming 5-10 years. And then other than that, we've been really just kind of working on tying up any wastewater grants, water grants. We have the project going in, the pump house down on 112. So we're just really kind of working on grants and getting them all tied up before deadlines come across. So other than
Good,
that,
thank-
Scott will be back at your next meeting and he will give you the full update.
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you very much.
My
Thank
pleasure.
you. Any correspondence received that we haven't?
Yes, we have a letter from Christina.
Christina, oh, yes, I had her down for Holland, other business, but that's okay. Yes, we can do it here. Christina sent us a, email, that she is resigning. Came back, thought she could fit it in, do it, but it's become apparent to her that she's just not gonna participate as she would wish. So she sent me an email, to that effect, that she's resigning.
Do we have to vote to accept the resignation?
I think we should, don't you?
I think-
Regrets or whatever
Yeah.
we say,
Yeah,
I think, yes, and,
which send her a message back.
I will send her a message back.
Yep.
All right, does somebody want to make a motion that we accept her
I'll make
resignation? Okay.
I second that.
Okay, and
I did say you have them, can take either one.
so let's vote, is it,
Those are questions.
Yep.
Aye.
All right,
Unanimous with
Yep.
regrets, we'll get that message to her.
Can we make the motion, to make Jerry a, permanent member, so we don't have to go through the sending him off?
Actually, I thought we already did it once already, but that's okay.
Well,
I don't
Because
know.
Judy swore me in and all, so. Well, we can do it.
We should, get the form that makes him a permanent member by a vote with all of our signatures on it.
Okay.
We did already.
We,
But that was before,
that
that
was-
was a
that was.
prior cycle.
The one
That
year
was
term.
for
okay,
the
last
last time.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go through that again. So would you like to be a
Yes.
forever?
We would like you to
We'd like you to
If you want,
I do.
Yeah.
be. So we'll do all that process and do we agree? We're gonna vote
Yeah.
that Jerry should be,
I'll make the motion even.
okay,
second it.
second it. All right, all those in favor?
Yeah.
Yes,
aye.
We're gonna vote for yourself, okay?
Yeah,
But I truly believe we've already done that, but that's all right for
we
this
did
year.
to appoint you as an alternate for this year, but
Or for an alternate.
Yeah.
We're gonna put you
We're
in a-
all-
but what
we're
we'll
gonna
do
be
is we'll upgrade you to
permanent
a city member.
That
of the board.
paperwork was
with
for you.
all of the
alternate.
Oh,
Now
prestige,
it's to be a
high
real.
pay.
okay.
That's what it was. We made him an alternate.
Yeah.
Now this is gonna be.
But it was in the previous cycle
won't have
that
to
me and
vote
Jerry were
every time.
alternates,
Yeah, right.
then
Yeah.
Christina resigned, then Jerry
That's
became
right,
a
Christine
permanent.
resigned and-
But then we had another
and
election in
Christine
between,
came in
Yeah.
again,
where
so
I
now
got
it's all-
elected, so he
And
became,
So you get the big paycheck.
All right.
Right.
he became alternate after the next election, so yeah, there was few things that transpired in the meantime.
But now you're back and
You're in, yeah.
you're in. All right, we'll do the proper
Joanne
paperwork.
says I'm in trouble, I'm always been in trouble.
We'll do the proper paperwork for that. Any other correspondence received? Do you have anything else that we?
It's just that, letter from Thornton was the only thing that came.
Yeah.
in
Yeah, we saw that.
We saw that.
Yep.
All right, the computer, do you have any news on the computer?
So I spoke with Judy this morning. We do have a request in for the, computer service company that supplies materials to the town to give us a quote for replacing the computer that died. We're still able to use this one on loan in the meantime, but, the quote has not yet been prepared. They're behind schedule.
Okay.
They were gonna try to get it to us in time for our meeting today, but did not succeed. The advantage of getting it through them rather than us buying it and maintaining it on our own is that if we get it through them, then Kathy can install the software that she uses to communicate with the town for town business. And they will maintain all of that, and then if anything happens to it, they'll replace it for us.
Perfect,
So it may be a little bit more expensive, but we'll get a lot better service out of it.
perfect.
And we have the money, the money in the budget.
I make a motion, we,
Yeah, keep
Do
going.
it.
Yep. Second.
All those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
And hopefully we'll have the quote in time for our next meeting, so we can vote on the exact amount we're approving.
Perfect.
Alrighty, we had a request for public participation.
That would have been me.
Do you have anything more
I
you
do
want to
have
say?
some more pictures from Stone Dam Road, and I didn't know if it was appropriate to give them to you, given your councils, or whether it should wait, but I have some that I can give you that were taken August 7th. And they show more of the degradation of the road.
I think, my thought is that we wait to see
Let's wait,
how this
yeah.
plays out.
Yeah.
Let's wait.
I think patience is gonna do everyone
Yeah.
fairness.
I would like to bring something up to the board, noting that we had an anonymous person on the call tonight. When folks come into the meeting, they all sign in, they're identified as sign in. It seems like it would be appropriate for anyone that's going to be joining the meeting to not join anonymously, but to have to put their name in like I did. I mean, I don't have my camera on because I'm in a hospital room and I don't need anybody to see that, but it's not the camera, but actually having someone's name up there. So when the meeting minutes, it's not like anonymous concerned citizen B. Just a suggestion. Over.
Our rules of procedure do state that everyone who is present on Zoom needs to identify themselves. This person willfully chose not to identify herself, and it will be stated that way in the minutes.
Oh, okay, thank you. I thought I remembered seeing that, but then when it just went away, I thought that maybe they weren't there.
And by the way, Catherine, we hope your father does well, or you do well with your father.
Thank you very
You're
much. I
welcome.
appreciate that, guys, and I appreciate all the kind words, truly.
Thank you for joining us too tonight.
All right, do we have anything else?
Belated happy birthday, Cheryl.
Oh, yes, happy birthday, Cheryl. Who doesn't?
Yeah, happy birthday.
Do you want us to sing happy birthday to you?
Do you
Please-
want to?
Please don't. I'm good, thank you. I'm down here
You
in
plus-
sunny Columbus, Ohio right now
Oh, wow.
at a conference, for tourism. So it's been a pretty good couple of days.
Well, thank you for joining us. Thank you. It's very
Gladly.
important. Had you here.
Quick question on how we do with the flood plan review and stuff like that.
I have not been able to coordinate my schedule with Kristen yet, so, that's still in a holding pattern at the moment.
Okay.
All right?
A couple of people have asked me about that, and I said, well, we're studying it, so.
Yeah,
we're working on
we
it.
definitely want to move it forward, and both of us have had extremely full plates of it.
Okay.
That's not
I'll
personal.
just to tell these
Yeah.
people that we're working on it.
We
It
are
takes
working on
time,
it.
but we're
It-
working.
It's definitely something that's very important to us, and we will get it moving forward.
I mean, not that I'm worried about it where I am.
I'm worried about it.
Yeah,
I'm on the top of a hill and worried about it.
Well, they call where I live the hill. So, I mean, you
they
know,
do, they always call that up on the hill.
yeah.
And your neighborhood was up on the hill
Okay,
years ago.
Done.
Anything else?
meeting adjourned.
Ah!
Nobody ever says no to that.
Not to say